Where are you at with your goals or your intentions for the year? Are you stuck in a rut? Are you crushing? Or maybe you just need some ideas and to revisit them. Today on the show, Beth and I are going to dive into where we're at, what it actually looks like this year for us compared to January 1, and what the next 6 months look like. Let's do this. You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in.
Okay, Beth, here we are doing a check-in on our goals and intentions for the year. And
are you sure we want to do this episode?
No. We were like making the show notes for this and thinking, are we sure we want to do this check-in? But
how are your goals? How are my goals? I don't know.
This year has been kind of a doozy. So we are going to do a little show here. We're going to check in on goals, share where we're at, and then maybe see what the rest of the year looks like.
Sure.
Yeah? Does that sound good?
Is your summer off to a good start? Let's talk about some fun stuff first.
Yeah,
Is your summer off to a good start?
Summer's fantastic.
Good.
It's finally warm.
How's your garden?
Okay. I think my melons are going to make it. The squirrels are digging.
They're living their best life in your garden. Like,
yes.
Yeah, thanks for feeding us.
And the birds. The birds too.
Yeah.
But it's coming along now that it's not 40 degrees out. So that's exciting. Pretty exciting.
I'm doing my best to keep my plants alive in my house.
They're looking good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The one's having a little trouble.
Yeah, some of them are a little struggle bus, but
because we went from like 40 degrees to 98.
Yeah.
But I mean, aside from that, the shock of it. Yeah, and Kaya started school. So
I know. I literally can't believe it. We have a big school girl.
Has been such a transition for our house. Oh my goodness. And we started in the summer, which is kind of just weird.
And she's going to Montessori school.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So it's a
perfect curriculum for her.
Yeah.
Keep her engaged.
So lots of change for us, but the summer is going really well. I'm enjoying it. So nice to be outside.
I know. I try to, when Amy's here working, so Amy's, obviously but for everyone listening on the podcast, we have a new agent on the team, Amy, and she's fantastic.
What's up, Amy?
What's up? And so a lot of times when she and I are here working, we'll go eat lunch outside, we'll script practice outside, we'll just let's go outside. Because Amy doesn't like that my house is at 68 degrees at all times.
We're all freezing.
So I'm living my best life and she's freezing to death. So, but yeah, no, summer's going good. It's got a weird start when we were in Africa.
Yeah,
being gone for 3 weeks and then you come back and it's all of a sudden magical summer weather and you're like, I feel like I missed something. Well, I'm having a little bit of beginning of summer FOMO.
Did it maybe make that transition easier though when we had that really cold weather and we just wouldn't hit summer? We'd our winter last forever.
It was the weirdest winter that I can remember for years.
It was.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's great. The weather's been great.
I feel like we prepped so much for you to go to Africa for
Yep, and then it happened and then you're like, oh wow, that's it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then it happened, you came back and we're, oh my gosh, we're really in the thick of summer.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So now I just really feel like my goals are off track. So am I living my best life? Yes. Did I check Safari bucket list off from 15 years ago? Yes. Are my goals on track?
Seriously, go check out her reels on her Insta because it looks amazing. I still haven't even had the full details on the trip because we've been too busy working since she's been back.
I know, right?
We need a happy hour where we just
But you have
chat.
new earrings.
I do have new earrings. I wish everyone could see them, but they're beautiful. Yeah, so summer's off to a good start. We hope your summer's off to a good start too. And did anyone check out our recipes, our summer recipes that we had in was it our last show? What was it? I don't know, that show.
Maybe. Yeah.
No,
two shows ago. A couple of shows ago.
Where we had our summer bucket list episode and we had our favorite recipes, our go-to recipes. So if you haven't yet, download that. Head to our website or Insta to get that. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
And they were good recipes. I'm going to steal some of yours. I need to make that. I need to figure out how to perfect that tahini sauce.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I tried to make it once and it was an epic fail.
Okay.
Or you can just come over here and make it for me.
We can just make it. Yeah. We'll just like
I'll
do it
put stuff on the grill. You make the sauce. We'll have dinner.
That sounds great.
Okay.
That sounds awesome. Okay, now let's dive into.
Let's talk about goals.
Yeah. So going back to the old show, I guess like 6 months ago now, which is just bananas.
Yeah. Episode 41 was all about goal and an intention setting for the year. So it was sort of like our kickoff episode for the beginning of 2022. We talked all about it. Like how we set goals, how we set intentions.
And we had really great feedback from you, which is kind of why we're doing this check-in show, because we had such really, really good feedback from you on that show and that it was really impactful. So we thought we would revisit, because once a year is not enough to be really taking a peek at that.
No.
And so many things can happen in a couple months, especially 6 months. So really taking time to check in. So if you haven't yet, before you started this episode, like go back to your goals or intentions that you set for the year to kind of have those handy, I think, as we go. Yeah.
So like look at your goals and see like where are you at with things? Like, are you super on track? Are you way off the rails? And just take an inventory of where things are at. Yeah. I know I personally have been doing this for like myself personally and also for the team. And I'm not super thrilled with where things are at. They're off in both areas, and I'm just going to be transparent about that. And I don't think we actually ever, like, I don't think I super duper got on the rails. So I think it was easy for me to get off the rails and stay off the rails for a little bit. But now I feel like I'm feeling more grounded.
My word of the year.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot. Yeah. We were just talking about that a minute ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling more, sure-footed, grounded, like just like in touch with things. I think the work up to like leaving for Africa and going on such a long vacation, living, entrepreneur life was a little bit terrifying for me. And I probably let it stress me out more than I should have, just because the uncertainty of things. But now I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. We were all fine. The team was fine. We got deals under contract. We still served our clients well.
We did.
And so now it's like, okay, now like get your act together, Beth. Like we have 6 more months to crush it. What are you going to do to make the last 6 months of the year end on a good note and have a year that I'm really proud of?
Yeah.
How about you?
So I think that maybe we should chat a little bit about the mindset thing here and kind of the intention piece of it.
The big, huge fuckery that fucks with your head.
Yeah, because I have some thoughts on this. So there's something that the first of the year like seems like such a magical time, right? And I think we touched on this on that episode 41, right? The goal, was that episode 41?
Yep.
Okay. And we touched on that where it's like this magical number, January 1st, and it's the beginning of the year, and it is a big deal. However, like you just mentioned, like you're just now feeling grounded, right? Mm-hmm. And we're in summer, like the beginning of summer. And so it doesn't necessarily always go as planned. So like adjusting expectations and like reframing your mindset as like just, and I go back to like how I'm feeling. How is this serving me best? Is this serving my family best? Like, and kind of, it takes you out of your goals for a second, I think, and helps you just sort of reassess life and to get in the mindset to actually move forward and to take action. Yeah. If you're feeling like maybe, like you were saying, you're off the rails or whatever for the beginning of the year. But honestly, too, with all the curveballs that happened near the end of the year, and like you said, going on a huge bucket list trip, you're gone for 3 weeks. That's like a while. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of things to think about. And we brought on a new agent. Like, there's been a lot going on.
Well, so the world, let's be honest, the world in general is still really weird.
It is really weird.
Just like trying to get back into the swing of things. Mm-hmm. I know like this morning, we're doing our batch recording day, but this morning I went to Rotary at 7:00 and it was so refreshing to see so many faces there that I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. And a lot of people have just gotten out of the habit. like COVID sort of gave all of us like a big, huge pass on things where if you didn't want to go to things, you just don't go.
Yes.
And nobody questioned it. Nobody was like, oh, where were you? Like, I don't, we missed you. You just are like,
introverts
COVID.
were living their best life.
Absolutely. And then everyone who was kind of like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with life. We've all gotten a big, huge pass. But now it's like that time where it's like, we gotta get back to our like real lives. Mm-hmm. We have to get re-engaged in things. If you're in, especially like community involvement things and groups and clubs, now is the time to like reconnect with those people and really like dial back into like why, like what was that thing in the beginning that attracted you to that group? Mm-hmm. And does it still serve you well? Is it still something that aligns with like your goals and what you want to achieve for the year? I know like today was a big recognition thing at Rotary, and it was going through and like all the people that have contributed to our club and like what we have done locally and globally. And it's like, holy crap. It brought me right back to like my big why of why, I wanted to be involved in that club. And I'm like, yeah, but I think a lot of us have been so checked out of all of that. And so even just engaging in just like everyday things, I think has been a struggle for a lot of people. I know it personally has for me, and I think your household too.
It's like finding that new normal. So like we can't go back because so much has happened and we've learned so much, and we've all evolved as humans. Like none of us are the same. So I think like finding that new normal, and there's been so much uncertainty in what's going on in the world, even as we speak right now. There's just so much uncertainty and unknown, and I really think that has played all into this. And the beginning of this year, just maybe feeling a little rocky. Like for us last night, there was a square dance down the street from us, like literally Katie on our block, like right over. And it was so silly. And it's this annual thing they did outside of COVID. And we went, and I was like, I don't know. And it was so fun to just like actually see your neighbors and people out, and it was so silly,
so
and Kaya loved it, and just like seeing people like embrace each other again and like having that sense of community was just, it felt really good.
It's what we all need. I think it's what we've all missed, even though we're like, oh, it's kind of fun to just be at home and isolated. At some point, I think everyone realizes that maybe they do need a little bit more community than maybe they thought they did.
Well, I think too with that, for people at home caring for someone, or like with a small child, being like stuck at home and not being able to have that community, like kind of threw you into even more survival mode. And I think it's hard to get out of that. I think it's like hard to like adjust and to again find that like new normal, because it's like you were just kind of going in autopilot. You had to just like get through. So it just looked really different. It looked really different for everyone for different reasons. So again, just like really finding that new normal and that mindset shift. And it doesn't really feel like it happened in January 1 this year. Maybe it did for you if you're listening. Maybe it did for you. But if you're feeling like kind of like you're just getting your bearings now, maybe you are. And maybe that's just the world right now. So
I know. That's definitely how I'm feeling.
Yeah. That's heavy.
What surprised you most, Christy, this year so far?
My gosh. So I genuinely thought come January, this is where I'm going to get. So I'm just going to be a mess. I even wore makeup today. What a bad idea. This is where I'm trying out a new foundation. It's kind of exciting. But anyways, moving on. This is where I really thought the beginning of the year was going to be like, my word was grounded. Yeah. And I really thought I was kind of getting to that point. And I thought that was going to like kind of sail me through, and like I was going to have it carve out space. And like I went through my checklist of like, where did I like, how did this serve my family best? When did I feel the best as a human being? Like as a mom, as a human, as a friend, as a wife, like what served me best there? And I did all that. Like we did all that when we did the show, and I did my check-in in the late fall, like I do. And like when I liked myself the most. And like, we talked about how space was like a really huge thing for me. Yep. And so finding that and like really wanting to feel grounded as like kind of an addition to space, and like knowing that. And my world from, I think really since recording on has really been anything but, until like the last, I would say, handful of weeks, I'm starting to finally feel like some sort of alignment or grounding. And even during the huge switch up for us of Kai going to school, which is such a huge adjustment, and like, you know, adjusting to summer, and like work being a little bit different for Ryan. So even with those changes, I'm kind of just starting to feel it. So honestly, like to be really transparent, have had like a 6 months, I've felt like total chaos. And that has all stemmed from personal, not from work, from personal life. So we had such such loss in our life, like during the last few months, like repeated loss, and really could never catch my breath and get caught up with that. So this year for me, I don't want to say it's been like awful, but it has not felt good. It has not felt good until very recently.
Not what you had planned for when you were
planned for. No, and
setting your intention.
Yeah, and that's why like I really focus on the intentions and how it feels to like operate in the space of life instead of goals, because, and I know it's different for everyone, which is totally cool, but for me, I would feel really defeated right now, and I actually am starting to feel like not winning. What's the word I'm looking for, Beth? Like I'm actually starting to feel the growth, like I'm coming out of that.
You're out of your cocoon.
Yeah. So it's been not at all what I thought. So checking in for me is just like it's interesting that you also are a different reason why, but like just kind of feeling that alignment and grounding too. And so really just, I feel like my year is kind of starting now, which feels really different.
That's really how I feel too. And I kind of felt like that when Amy joined the team. I'm like, yeah, this feels so good. It feels like such a great alignment. She feels like such the perfect fit for the team.
She really does.
She brings so much value to the team and knowledge and just life.
And Carrie too.
I'm so excited.
Gosh.
So Carrie, my part-time assistant, has given notice at her real job, and she is joining the team full-time in August.
So excited.
And I literally am like, oh my gosh, how is this going to change my life? I don't even think I can fully grasp how much stress and like things that she's going to take off my plate, that she's just thinking so good at managing, and I've been struggling through, because it's like entrepreneur life. This is what you signed up for, Beth. So until you get people in the right seats on the bus, it's stressful. And the last couple of years, in the middle of a pandemic, I'm like, yeah, let's launch a team and let's leave an old team.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's move brokerages. This seems like a really good idea. And it was a lot.
It was a lot. One thing that I love so much about you is you're really good at like delegating things out, I think. Like you're really good at finding someone's superpowers and talents and letting them run with it. And you've always done that the whole time that I've worked with you. Well, since I've known you as a friend. Like you see those superpowers in people and you're like, yes, you absolutely, this is perfect for you.
Yeah.
And when I think about Amy and I think about Carrie, and I just did both of their branding deep dives, which we do on the team. We get to work together and do the branding deep dive and get them really set up for success right away, which is so exciting for me. I just love this part of my job. And it doesn't even feel like a job. I just like love it. And doing that with them and seeing their role within the team, and then doing the deep dive and how aligned they are with the work. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. Like This is awesome. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's been weird, but now I'm feeling, I don't know. I was pretty frazzled. I don't even know what the right words or the right adjectives were, but like I didn't feel great. Like the beginning part of the year, I just kind of felt like I was in a funk. I felt like I couldn't stay on track with like my goals, and it was just super easy to make excuses and procrastinate even more than I normally do. And that just is like a total recipe for failure. And now I'm like, yep, we got this. Like we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to not have like the perfect year that's like, oh yes, it's, you know, it's going to be like
Instagram picture perfect.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. There's like this messy middle, and I feel like I was smack dab in the middle of it, and it's okay.
It is okay. And it goes back to like January 1 is the beginning of the year, but it doesn't have to be as magical as we make it out to be.
No, there's a lot of I don't know, a lot of hype built around it.
So
kind of like Valentine's. Like, you should be loving your spouse every day of the week, not just on, February 14th. So yeah, there's so much hype about like starting a fresh year and what that looks like and how it should look and it should be perfect. That's just not reality, and that's okay.
Yeah, it literally has not been reality. And for me, I'd love to sit here and say I've grown so much, and that hasn't happened yet. I can feel it's coming. Yeah. And I'm sure I have grown, and others might say I have, but I have not felt that way. It's felt like chaos or turmoil and just so much emotion, and just it has not been like pretty, honestly. And so with that, though, I know there's going to be growth, and there's going to be like
always growth
coming out of it. And
you're gonna be like the phoenix coming out of the ashes.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be amazing? So yeah, that's really where I'm at. So I don't even have like a good growth story, because I think it's just happening right now,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to real estate agents all the time. Like, you're always networking with creatives, mm-hmm. and Ryan's an entrepreneur, and I think I don't think like us coming on this show and saying, oh, hey, we're going to be transparent and we are not at where we thought our goals would be or where we hoped, or we're not totally in alignment with our intentions. I don't think that we're alone. I think there's going to be a lot of people listening to this episode. They're going to be like, yep, I'm right there with you, sister. I kept going back to like, I don't feel grounded at all this year. And I'm like, stop putting pressure on that. And I'm like, why don't I? Like, I literally thought I was going to. You're like, but damn it, that's my
word. I'm like a mess here. And that's been really interesting. But one thing I do have to say though, and I feel this year, the growth part is I feel so much more supported as like a woman, a mom, an entrepreneur the last 6 months than I probably ever have.
Which is huge.
Which is huge. And that's a lot of, I guess, growth there.
Right.
But that is something too, is like surrounding yourself with good humans. And that is one area I have grown, is making sure that they're always around me. So yeah.
Winning.
Yeah. So what surprised you the most though, Beth, about all of this?
I think I gave myself a lot more grace than I normally do. I normally am like really hard on myself. And I think I started out the year like that. And then I'm kind of like, okay, calm down. Like, calm down. Just like slow your roll. It's okay. It's okay to take a pause. It's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to not have it look exactly how I wanted it to look. And I don't know, I'm getting emotional. But it's okay to give yourself grace. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the perfectionist in me always wants it to look a certain way, always wants it executed a certain way. And, that's a lot of that, I'm sure, is like the poor girl that grew up on welfare demons that I've, battled most of my life. And it's okay. It's okay to not have it look a certain way.
It is okay.
And now we're crying.
We're crying. See, this is what happened.
Yeah.
But this is real stuff, though. There's so much. I honestly think like this really shows that it's so much more than the goals. Like when you set the goals for the year, there's so much more than just the goal setting. And it's just really finding inside you what works and what you actually need. And then what comes from there is, I think, where the work and where the winning is.
Well, and something that you always say, which I think is such a great reminder, and logically I know it, but I always have a hard time remembering it, is like growth isn't linear. It looks linear. Like a freaking like squiggly line that a 1-year-old drew. And you want it to like just be like in this trajectory of like this line, this angled line heading forward and up. Like, yeah. And that's just not the way life actually works.
It's not any area of life. It's just this it's constant movement. I always just say it's like constantly moving and shifting, and it's life is great. It just that's how it works. And I would be great if we could just force it, I think, to know exactly what the outcome was going to be. Wouldn't that be great, Beth?
Yeah, but there probably wouldn't be as much growth.
No, the journey.
There wouldn't be as much learning and learning about yourself, learning about the world around you, people around you. It would not be as interesting for sure.
No.
Easy isn't always interesting.
Usually it's not.
I like easy peppered in there with growth. Maybe I could take a little bit more easy the second half of the year.
I'm
Universe,
raising my
God,
hand
are you
for
listening?
Easy.
Yeah. I'm like, I could take a heavy dose of easy for a bit here. But yeah.
Share some of that with me, please. I'd appreciate it. So what is the rest of the year? Like, what do you think it looks like for you?
I think the rest of the year, especially getting Carrie on board, is going to be a lot more systematized, which I need in my life. And I think that will be good for the team as well.
It's something that we've needed for quite a while.
Yeah.
And she's like the magic that's going to come.
Yeah, I have all these ideas in my head, but having someone like side by side with me that can actually help me execute putting more systems into place that will make everyone's life easier and will help us cultivate more and better business, I think will be wonderful. I'm super excited about that.
That will be really great.
And you were looking for more talent. I'm excited about that too. But once I think one of my hesitations about growing the team has always been not having the perfect systems in place. And sometimes you just got to do it. But now when we'll get great systems in place, I think that will help my comfort level of like, yeah, now we can just like, we can duplicate this and duplicate this and duplicate this and
without the overwhelm.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it's mainly like my overwhelm. So, and I don't want it to be overwhelming for anyone that joins the team. I want it to be like, yeah, this is awesome. This isn't stressful at all. Like a lot of real estate teams are shit shows. And I'm trying to avoid that at all costs.
So most of the time when I talk to you about goal setting or intention setting, you go right to work. So yeah. I want you, if you will, I'm throwing her a curveball here. She doesn't know I'm going to ask this. I want you to share more personally, like intentions or goal setting there for you. Like, what does that look like for the rest of the year?
My coach and I actually just talked about this on Monday. I'm feeling very out of alignment with health and wellness. I'm like, Mark and I are living our best, like fat and happy lives right now. And I'm not loving it. But I'm also not doing anything to really change it. So I'm like, neither of us are getting any younger. So the conversations that we've been having in our household is like, what can we do and what activities can we start doing as a couple that we both enjoy, where we're getting out and being active? It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go to the gym and like pump iron for 2 hours, because I don't think that that's sustainable long term. But I want us to be doing more things that connect us as a couple and also get us out and get us active. So those are the conversations we've been having. And we even went and test drove fat tire bikes on Sunday.
How was that?
It was incredible.
Oh my gosh. So
I know.
Beth, Ryan's going to listen to this, and he's right now, because he's listening to this as he's editing. So he's like, this is what's happening right now. And he's like rolling his eyes and so annoyed, because I have wanted a fat bike since we moved to St. Paul almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But I hate riding a bike. But I'm like obsessed with the idea of having a fat bike, and he's had to talk me out of like getting
and you
something
can drive
like
them all year round,
right? He's like, you're never gonna drive it, and I'm like, but
I might.
I know. If you get one, oh my god.
Well, so Mark test drove it first, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of awesome, and he's like, ride it, and I'm like I'm in flip flops with my Gucci crossbody bag, and I'm like, okay. And so I went and rode it, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of awesome, and I remembered how much I love riding a bike. My bike in the garage is like 20 years old. It's so like, I don't know, it's like old school and junky. And now I'm like, if I had a new bike, this might actually bring me some happiness. And I'd be outside, like wind whipping through my hair. It'd be awesome.
I love it. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm like a runner, a hiker, a swimmer. Biking, I like coasting, like casual, but like uphill and stuff, I'm so annoyed. It's not my jam at all. I really want a fat bike. So
you can ride mine when I get it, because I might just go to the store and just buy his and hers and not even tell Mark.
Do it.
It'd be awesome.
Do it. So, okay. So health, wellness, alignment there is really what your personal.
Yeah. I'm excited that, we're getting outside more, and Mark and I have gone on a lot of little like day dates here and there on his days off, and it's been really great. But I just feel like we need to be more active as a couple, because we're not getting any younger, and really, if you don't have your health, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. I'm just hearing about a lot of people like in their 50s, like dropping dead, or my friends' spouses dropping dead in their 50s. Yeah. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be Mark. So we need to be a little bit more intentional about that in our household.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's going to feel good too.
It will.
I feel really good.
Okay, Christy. So like, what does the rest of the year look like for you and your house and your business? And
yeah, so I'm hoping for a feeling of alignment. I can't remember the last time I've been this much out of alignment for this long. So I'm really looking forward to that. So grounding. I'm starting to feel it. I'm looking forward to that. Putting things into place. I feel that way. Kai's in school. We have a little bit more space now.
Your remodel's mostly
no,
wrapped
that's
up?
a shit show.
Come on.
It's a shit show.
It's going to be done eventually.
No, it's not. So anyways, I have like more space carved out for work, which then makes me feel a little bit more at ease with it, which is great. Setting it like intentionally, like time for myself, I've been doing. This is all very, very recent. So the rest of my year to do even more of that. And then health and wellness too for us. Like we're like intentionally setting time aside to be active, and it's felt really good, both together and independently. So that's all felt really good. So that's really honestly just like feeling grounded and in alignment the rest of the year is my goal, which that's what I'm working on. So
you know,
that's what
something
it looks like
that
for me.
I think is awesome is that you're taking time to go get your nails done. It may seem like a little thing, but it's like 45 minutes of no one like, mom, Christy, dogs barking. It's just like, I love going to get my nails done. And I think a lot of people think that's like a guilty pleasure, but it's like your own time where nobody's bugging you.
It's so interesting you say that because it annoys the shit out of me still to get them done, the time that gets wasted, because my time, like everyone's time is so precious, but we really, without our nanny and with like how our lives are, like entrepreneurs, and like also Ryan has his other job, and then we have Kaya. So up until more recently, like carving out that time, it felt so
hard.
Wasteful. Like I could be doing so many other things with this time. So it actually annoys me. But the last time I went wasn't as annoying.
Well, and I think
but I like
more
it. I like it. It feels good.
Yeah,
so.
the more that you do it, the more you'll realize you're like, I deserve to have some time where someone else is taking care of me. Yeah. Someone else is making my life better and like making my nails pretty, and who doesn't want to be pampered and spoiled?
It does feel really good. So I am adjusting there because the annoyance when someone like wastes your time, like it's not waste. It's really funny. But that's what I'm focusing on really the rest of the year. And I really think I'm going to get there. I really do, because I feel it shifting. I feel a really big shift right now. So shifting into like feeling like my feet are planted back on the ground, and I'm going to move forward, I think. So
that's huge.
Yeah, that's my year.
Yay.
And I'm really excited, honestly, work-wise. Like I'm excited for the changes on the team. They feel really good. And I am excited to work with new people that way. So
yeah,
I know it's going to be really good.
New people that are so excited to like be building their own brands is really, really, it's so fun to see.
And good humans, just like being surrounded by good humans. I love it.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
I love it too. Well, so from episode 41, we gave 3 actionable items, and I think they are worth circling back to. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so let's do it. So number 1 was like go for a walk just to like clear your head, get some space, get some distance from things that are stressing you out in your day-to-day life. And I was so diligent about this during COVID when we were all locked in the house. And I was like, okay, I am losing my marbles, like legit. I felt like I was cracking up, and I'm like, okay, what can I control? Can't really go anywhere. There's no coffee shops open. Like you couldn't even like, you know, normally I'd like go to the mall and blow some money or something. I couldn't do any of my normal vices. Let's call it that. I couldn't go get my nails done. I couldn't go to the mall. I couldn't do any of my normal things that would like bring me happiness. And so I'm like, what can I do? I went for walks every single day because I'm like, if I don't, I am really might need a padded room. And it was just such a great time to like clear my head. I did not listen to music. I did not listen to podcasts. It was me and nature and sunshine and birds chirping. And it was so fun to like
turkeys.
Wild turkeys.
Goblins.
It was just so fun to see, like actually say hi to people in my neighborhood. Just clear my head.
Walking is meditative too, which is why hiking, we love it. Like it's meditative. So is running. So doing that without music or without podcasting, like I typically will do it without anything as well.
Oh, really?
A lot
running?
of times.
That's awesome.
So it's meditative. So if you have trouble meditating or kind of like getting yourself in that calm space, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Just get out and move your body. Walk.
Number 2, just notice the different areas of your life, personally and professionally. Like, where are they on track? Where are they off track? And start just like making a plan to get things where you want them to be.
Also, too, like, this is not the time of year to be like you had mentioned, you're usually so much harder on yourself if you get to like this point where you feel like you haven't checked enough things off or, your goals aren't where they're at. Don't do it. Just every time that comes in your head, stop. You can obviously look and assess where you want it to be and like set an adjusted goal or like an intention, but beating yourself up and causing yourself to go into that like dark space is going to be so counterproductive to everything, not just this, but to everything in life.
It's a bad thing to do.
Yeah, do that check-in, but also give yourself some space and time to process it so you get out of the being hard on yourself. And maybe you're at a place where you're like, I'm crushing it. Cool. Yeah. Adjust your goals, adjust your intentions
your goal
to something else.
Yeah.
If you're crushing it and you set them too low, you set the bar too low, push yourself.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about the flip side of the coin around here. Sorry. If you're listening and you're like, well, man, this is the most depressing podcast episode these girls have ever put out. So if you're that girl out there listening to this episode and you are freaking crushing your goals, make stretch goals.
We've done
up
this.
Your goals. I've done that for years in the past where I'm like, okay, I'm hitting June and I'm totally on track. Now I'm like pushing myself even further and I'm going to put a stretch goal out there. And I'm like, what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't get to your stretch goal, but you get further than what your original goal was.
Because otherwise, you're only making that goal or just a little over.
Yeah, you're just going to take your foot off the gas when you're getting close to meeting your goal. And you're going to coast. So
you might find that they're different too.
Right.
That they're actually totally different, or like life has given you major curveballs and your intentions are different.
Right.
Adjust them and be okay with it. Give yourself some grace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and number 3 is write your goals down for the year. So obviously most of us did goals, intentions, some of this at the beginning of the year. And if now you're in June and you're like, none of this feels aligned with me. Anything that I put down on a piece of paper or wrote in your note thing in your phone in January, it feels completely like off base. Start over. Yeah. There's no rules to this.
There's no rules.
Rip that piece of paper up and start the heck over.
Yes.
And do something that actually feels good, that feels aligned with who you are. Come up with your new word. You started a word in the beginning of the year and it doesn't feel like anything like where your life is headed. Change your goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
End the year how you want on your own terms.
Yes, absolutely. Set yourself up for success, like personally, professionally, like right now for the rest of the year, however you can. And give yourself grace if you need it. Like, honestly, we all need grace. So give it. Just give it. Right. You're not going to help yourself if you don't. Like, it's not going to make it any easier.
Right. And there's no reason that you can't bang out 6 months out of the year that totally like make you so damn proud.
Yeah. We would love to hear some goal crushing stories.
Yeah, that would make us really happy.
Really excited.
It'll help keep us on track.
Well, we thank you so much for being here through everything with us. Like the real, right? The real, the raw, the not so easy, and the awesome too. Yep. We're so excited that you're here. So thank you. And we would love to hear from you though. So where are you at with your goals and intentions? Like, did this resonate with you, this show? Are you totally crushing it? Like, where are you at? You can shoot us a DM on Insta, or just, go ahead and send us a comment, or, shoot us an email if you're on our email list. We'd love to hear from you.
And a further celebration. About a month ago, we hit 10,000 downloads. Oh,
that's right.
And we totally missed it. We had been planning and keeping a close eye on all of our numbers, on all of the episodes that are downloaded. And then when we hit 10,000, we actually didn't even pay attention to it.
That was in Africa.
I was in Africa and It sucked that we missed our big, like the day that it switched to 10,000.
Yeah. But it also shows you that like, it's not that like number, that like special thing. It's more just like this celebration. Like we're building a community that really means something, and you're here.
And we're so thankful that you're here and you're a part of this.
Yeah.
And if you weren't here, we wouldn't even be doing this.
We wouldn't.
Yeah.
We would just be crying in a corner talking about our goals together. Just kidding. No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. But no, really, thank you so much for being here.
So until next time, bus bench babes, keep your face off a bus bench and keep being the badass boss babes that you are.
Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.